This afternoon we've come out for a walk down the towpath in near my home in Chorley in Lancashire, where I live on my boat on a marina. And the Canal Network in the UK is a beautiful thing to behold, and I thought I'd just take you for a bit of a walk down one today. This is the Leeds and Liverpool Canal, and just tell you a little bit about it. It's stunning here today. There's lots of geese on the canal. Usually they're away. Are they Canada geese? I can't see it, so the sun's in my eyes, but usually they're away now. But these seem to have stayed. Yes, they are Canada geese. They are behind me. It is absolutely beautiful. The canals are beautiful. There's about 4,000 to 5,000 miles of network of canals in the UK. Most of them are linked together. So you can travel, if you've got a narrowboat, not a wide beam narrowboat. If you've got a narrowboat, you can travel basically from Ripon in the north of Yorkshire down to London and west to east as well. A lot of people, when they retire, spend a life called continuous cruising on the narrowboats. This is what I plan to do, but health things have cocked me up a little bit for that. And I'm quite happy. I've lived in my narrowboat now for 15 years, so I've pretty much got it out of my system. But this is beautiful. The sun's out. It's very, very still. There's no bird song. I think the birds will be off trying to feed at the moment and probably come back to these hedgerows at the side of me to roost this evening. But it is just so beautiful and peaceful. There's usually quite a few people out. There's two fishermen in front of me about 100 yards away. Usually quite a lot of people out, but the canal towpaths in the country are used by walkers and cyclists and runners. It's just so lucky, such beautiful, beautiful countryside. You know, if you come to the UK, don't just go to London. Come up here, visit us in the northwest. Go to the Yorkshire Dales, go to the Lake District. Visit some of the northern towns and cities like Chester and Liverpool and Manchester. They're all extraordinarily beautiful, with, I was going to say hundreds, but literally thousands of years of history. I can hear crows in the background somewhere over there. That's a very, I know it's ubiquitous all over the world, but it always reminds me of the English countryside. Sunday morning sound of church bells and crows. All rather beautiful. Molly's with me. Oh, you can see behind me. She's behind me somewhere. There you go. Small black dog. Beautiful small black dog. Yeah, so the canal network. There's about 5,000 miles of canal network that used to be used for carrying goods on barges. A lot of these were called Liverpool short boats, and they weren't short boats. They were 60 foot long and 17 foot wide. The canals are made to be a minimum of 34 foot wide, 35 foot wide, in the theory that two Liverpool short boats could pass each other. Now, the thing about canals is people think they're deep. Canals generally, the draft on a narrowboat is about 2.5 foot or something less than a metre. And the canals themselves are about 3 foot deep in the middle. And they're not shaped like that, they're shaped like a dish. So they're very shallow at the edges. And this causes all sorts of hazards. So when two boats pass, you have to move over to the outside to let the other one pass you. And they're not dredged like they used to be. I always say that if they were still used commercially, the people who use them commercially would insist that they were maintained. But they're not maintained as well, so you're forever like grinding along things on the bottom, like fridges and boulders and dead bodies and things like that. But it's all part of the experience. Many a time I've gone to the side and I've had to reverse back out. It's taken me like half an hour to get out, but it's all in the fun. So that's how the shape. So they're shaped like a dish, and they're only about 3 foot deep. And each of the bridges, and we're coming up to bridge 66, they've got a number on them. So the whole network, you know exactly where you are on the network by the numbers on the bridges. Usually you can see quite a lot of narrowboats going up and down. And it's very quiet here, but it's very cold. Beautiful day, but very, very cold. Not there for cruising up and down in the narrowboat. I think people have made moves to reignite the freight carrying capacity of the canal network over the last few years. I don't think it'll ever take off, but having said that, with all the legislations that's going on about what kind of vehicles and emissions and whatever can be driven on the roads within the next few years, I think there will be a place for commercial traffic on the canals again. And one thing about it, if there is, then the bloody Canal and River Trust will have to pull a finger out and do quite a lot of maintenance. But I think that might come probably after my time, but it'd be nice to see them used again commercially. Like I say, they run all over the country, and they're different canals, and they, like the Leeds and Liverpool and the Lancaster Canal and blah blah, there's loads of different, Trent and Mersey, loads. And they were first started about 1670, and before that, in the late 1500s, rivers, navigable rivers, were used for commercial transport. But then the canals were built by the navvies. Now, you may have heard the term navvies, especially if it comes from the UK. And the navvies were the people, the men, who dug the canal, because they called them navigators. And there you go. We didn't actually go very far today because it's absolutely heaving with people. I mean, there's just groups of people, people on bikes, people running, people walking the dogs, but it's packed. And I like the place to myself. It's such a beautiful, calm, wonderful place. We are lucky in the UK to have. And the funny thing is that I watch a lot of YouTube videos, and they're usually people from the States who've either visiting or have moved over here, and they're great. I mean, I can watch them forever. They're very, very entertaining. Some really good, and they usually kids, usually people in their early 20s, so they're full of enthusiasm, they know how to put it over. It's great, really entertaining viewing. But it's all very London centric. It's like, if you've been to London, you've been to England kind of thing. And that's like the biggest load of horse shit I've ever heard in my life, because that is just a tiny fraction. Get out to all parts, go down to Devon and Cornwall and Wales and the Midlands and East Anglia and Yorkshire and Lancashire. Make your way up north. But get up north, get up to the Lake District, get up to Yorkshire, beautiful. Make your way up to Scotland. Somebody on one YouTube video this week were talking about what are the beaches like in the UK, because they'd seen a video and it showed shingle beaches. But it's not like that. Get up onto the west coast of Scotland. The sand is white and the sea is aquamarine blue. They are absolutely amazing. They're as good as anywhere on the planet. It's a beautiful country. Get up to Durham. So much history up there. Bamber Castle, places like that. You know, Lindisfarne, Holy Isle. Go to Scotland. Scotland, the west coast of Scotland. It's staggering. It's beautiful. The lochs. Ah, man. You really have got to, if you're not in the UK and you're watching this, you really need to come over. Because we're nice people. We are. I mean, again, a lot of the videos I watch are knock in the UK because they say they don't like the fact that people only drive what they call standard shift cars, what we call manual, and which is a bit of a crazy argument to make. And we don't have plug sockets in the bathroom. Think that one through before you make the comment. That's a good idea. Water and electricity doesn't mix, and you can have a plug socket in your bathroom, because you can have a plug socket to plug your rechargeable razor or toothbrush and things like that. You just can't have a normal 13 amp 3-pin plug. Where did we get onto this from? Canals? How extraordinarily strange. But yeah, it's a beautiful country. And the thing is, everywhere you go in the country, you will come across canals. You'll come across English canals. The Canal Network. Look at it. I'm in the shade here, so I'm a bit dark. It's gorgeous. It really is beautiful. I'm so lucky to live over here. I've just had 4 bottles of vodka delivered. And I've got 2 coming tomorrow, so I've got 6 bottles of vodka. Because what I'm going to do is, if I can drag my mate Sue into it as well, we're going to do vodka tasting there. And these aren't cheap vodkas. It's cost me an absolute fortune. It's cost me 200 quid. But it's worth it. So we've got some really class vodkas. We're going to do a vodka tasting. And then after that, we might do tasting of other things. Every so often, what I want to do is, like, you know, do a nice walk. I'm addicted to geoguesser, so we'll do a geoguesser and a bit of tasting and kind of rotate like that. I think that would be extraordinarily cool. We've just come onto one of the bridges over the canal. They're really just farm tracks. There are lots and lots of them every few hundred yards, and they're all made, most of them are made out of stone. Beautiful constructions, and they're just to give farmers access to the fields. And like I say, each one has got a number. So each canal will have a name, and within that canal there'll be numbers, bridges, starting at one end up to whatever at the other end, and you know exactly where you are. And I think this is bridge 67 on the Leeds and Liverpool Canal that I'm standing on now. There you go. Now I don't know whether you can see it in the background. Now we'll probably have to squint against the sun. It's behind through that tree there. You probably can't see it, but there's a hill in the background, and that is Rivington Pike. And I did a couple of videos about Rivington Gardens, built by Lord Leverhulme, and his cottage that he built there. I know it was destroyed by a suffragette, the first one. He built another in 1925, and they're absolutely fabulous. It's full of follies, and it's absolutely gorgeous place. And I did 2 videos, Lord Leverhulme's Rivington Part 1 and Part 2. And if you go on my channel, if you go on my videos, they've got quite a few views. Not, I mean, quite a few, probably about 150, which is nothing, is it, compared to most people on YouTube. But it's worth a look because it's really entertaining. Did some nice drone footage over it as well. Need to get the drones out again. A bit cold at the moment. Well, we're going to head back down, get back onto the towpath and head back towards the canal, towards the marina. So a little insight into the Canal Network. Going through the country here, but it does, obviously, they delivered goods to industrial areas. It's just that the countryside was the direct route, although they do weave about a lot, and there's locks that take it up and down. But they do go, yeah, they go through into right through Birmingham or Wolverhampton, all sorts of every town. You'll see on the old buildings they'll have like a hatch at the top of the building near the roof, and this used to have cranes sticking out of them. That's where they would lift the goods off the barges not narrow boats, I suppose they were called barges, the working ones, off the barges and into the factories. And you can probably see Winter Hill a bit better from here. I don't know if you can actually see it behind me, but that is where Lord Leverhume's Rivington Gardens is. Fabulous, fabulous place. If I get the chance when we get back, we will continue, because there's a bridge I come off and it's right at the side of the marina. But what I'll do, I'll continue along the towpath for a couple of 100 yards and give you a quick view of where I live on my marina, where I worked for 15 years and I've lived, well, worked for 14 years, lived for 15 years. And we'll give you a look at that. That's quite interesting. I suppose most people, even in this country, really aren't aware of what marinas and canal networks are like. Might be a bit cool. This is the marina where I live. Now I'm filming this on my GoPro so I can't zoom in, but my boat is a grey one. You might be able to make out grey and black doors somewhere about there. That's mine. There's a marina office. The marina's quite big actually. It goes on down there a heck of a way. That's where I was for 15 years. I've just moved up to this end for a bit of a change. We've got 150 boats-ish, and 50-ish of those are residential. It's a lovely environment to live in. Isn't it, Black Dog? Anyway, we're going to make our way back now and make a cup of tea. It's getting a little bit dark now and it's gone very, very cold. Molly's asleep in a bed. She's happy. I've got the fire on, so it's nice and warm. So we're happy where we are. Now, it's been nice chatting to you. If you like our videos, please subscribe, share, like, press the notification bell so you're aware when we put out content. And that's about it. I hope you have a good one. See you later. Peace and love.